never give up. I never give up. I never give up. Turn around.
Hi guys, welcome back to My Steps to Sobriety, my show on YouTube and as a podcast with me, your host, Stefan Neff. And today is another day for an interview. Yes. And I'm really bouncy today because my guest today, Roseanne Forte, and me have had a long journey to get this interview done because we had so many things that didn't work out, from family emergencies to internet breakdowns to you name it. And you could say this was not meant to happen. And I said, no, this will happen because we both have shared so much passion in our journey. We both are so convinced that you can live a life where alcohol has actually nothing to play in. Okay? So therefore, I've got Roseanne here today with me. And Roseanne comes from a different angle, because Roseanne has found the power of Jesus Christ, the love of Jesus Christ, which I haven't yet. So therefore, I thought, I need to hear her take, and I need to see how she manages her life and cultivates a sense of well-being, a sense of love within herself, so that really alcohol or any other kind of these funny behaviors that we sometimes do doesn't play a role. So Roseanne, welcome to my show.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And yes, we have been on a journey together to try and get this.
It is what it is. Sometimes you have to work for something and it doesn't just fall in your lap. And I think that is true about sobriety. That is true about relationships. That is true about everything in our life. So here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, Roseanne. Obviously, we both have been on this journey. How did your love affair with alcohol start?
Oh, that started when I was 13 years old. I was one of those ones that took decades to really develop a problem. And I probably spent a decade trying to manage it.
Stop. Did you spend a decade or decades developing the problem, or did you spend decades realizing that you had a problem?
Both. I have both sides of that.
Okay.
Yeah. I drank for a long time. I started at 13 years old. And so
what did the alcohol do? What did it give you?
When I started young, it was just to fit in. And then, in college, it was to have fun. And then at work, it was, I don't know, but it just seemed like the thing to do at work, whether it's happy hour or business lunches, business events. It always seemed like alcohol was present. It was used for romanticism on dates. You just always had a drink. With my now ex-husband, it was always part of our time out. And it just seemed prevalent everywhere. And I think the problem really started to rear its ugly head when I was using it for stress management. Yeah, very, very difficult marriage and a high performing job. I was an executive. I was a COO or CFO at different companies. I was an entrepreneur too. And, there's a lot of responsibility and kids and marriage. And, it's like, oh my gosh, I need alcohol. And I really think that's when the problems start. Don't you? You're agreeing with me.
Oh, 100%. It's weird. Sometimes the words of my guests could have come out of my lips, and it would have been exactly the same. But it is what it is. I mean, the alcohol often is a crutch. The alcohol often gives us a benefit and gives us things, and that's what we need to accept. It is not that evil thing that is out there. It's just a matter of fact that there are so many better things out there. But for you at that moment, when you were run down, tired, and just wanted to switch off, you had not yet learned other techniques. You had not yet learned to satisfy the needs of your body. You were on the go, 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 and you were in a culture where this was not just accepted, but actually expected. And I think we all keep forgetting that, okay? In the 80s, 90s, we're both about the same age. In the 80s, 90s, alcohol was everywhere. And alcohol was part and parcel of your life. End of the story. And in some professions, more so than others. But it is normal to go on the 5 o'clock, the happy hour, to debrief after a busy day with your colleagues. There's so many reasons why we did what we did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think one of the things you addressed, I really wanted to stop and savor is that, we say that we could have said the same things about our experiences. And you and I are out there trying to do the same thing, is trying to create an awareness about problems related to alcohol and give people hope that there's something else. But the thing is, especially in faith, right? I believe that we are all uniquely created, but the consequences of alcohol are not unique. The problems that alcohol creates are not unique. We share that. And my big goal is to get the word out that you're not alone. This is pretty serious. It's not a character flaw. It's the substance. I feel like we've been lied to by society and the alcohol companies. It's addictive. It's an addictive substance, and I think for too many years we pointed at the person and said, this is a problem with the person. This is a problem with the substance.
But see, here you are. You nailed that, because when you look at the take that the alcohol industry has taken and governments have taken, about 10, 20 years ago, there were the first sort of attempts to actually regulate the alcohol industry, which, by the way, is, if you put the 10 biggest producers of alcohol together and think that they would be a country and then rank them in the world of the countries, they're pretty much up there in the first dozen. That's from the power and from the might of money that is sitting there. Okay, so you're talking a huge thing. So different countries, maybe the UK as a good example, have tried to regulate that, and these companies are these companies are international, so you can't actually easily regulate them. And equally, they have been pushing back and said, no, sorry, we don't want to be regulated. But you know what? We put the onus back on the drinker. So they have got this product that is clearly addictive. And now they put on there, drink responsibly. What a cool strike that is. I love it. I love it. Just put it all onto the person there. How many is the carrot? Come on, eat it. I know it will kill you, but eat it responsibly. Huh?
The casinos here in the U.S., right? They're rigged to get you addicted, and it's gamble responsibly.
Is it not? Is it not? Oh man! Yeah. But I mean, here we are. We are on this path now because we have gone through sort of a darker side, a darker time in our lives, and as often related to trauma. I mean, what made you? Well, stop. Another question beforehand. When did you get touched by Jesus Christ? When did you become religious?
That happened a long time ago in my early 30s as a result of some severe marriage problems. And my in-laws were missionaries, and I was really suffering. So I gave my life to Jesus and I became a Christian, but I was living like 1 foot in and 1 foot out, trying to please my husband, who wasn't a Christian, going to church. I was a leader in the church, right? Yeah. And so, boy, oh boy, was that a problem for me. But the thing is, when I speak in circles that are Christian circles, I'm like, you're not alone. Like, I was here hiding it. I have coached pastors. I mean, we're all lied to. We all think there's this invisible line, right? There's an invisible line, and you don't know when you're going to cross it. Nobody picks up alcohol believing that they're going to have a problem with it. We're lied to. And we just don't know. Nobody gives us a warning about where the line is. But once we cross it, we've crossed it. And so there's many people inside the church that thought it was okay, and then they get caught, and then there's shame because, wait, I shouldn't have this problem. I'm a Christian. Everything should be good because I'm with God, and it's not good. Right?
Bullshit.
But that's the beauty of, for me, Christianity is that you can say it's okay. You can, everything in your path, every day you have new mercies, and every day you can start fresh with Jesus. So that's really the benefit of being able to put that past behind you and move forward, because I believe that without that forgiveness and peace, that the slate is wiped clean, at least this is how it works for me, you can't move forward and see what's possible. You just continue to live in that past. And that's how it works for me anyway.
Absolutely.
I don't want to preach. Yeah.
Again, interesting. I would have probably said exactly the same words just without Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So we need to forgive ourselves, and we need to, at some stage, draw a line in the sand where we say, okay, fine, the past does not equal the future. I have done things in the past that I'm not proud of. You now, once you come to that point, to the realization, you have got the option of either moving on and just not looking back. Might work for you, but the past has got a habit of catching up with you, and the past lives in you. So I rather believe in coming to terms with the past, accepting the past, throwing the evil twins of shame and guilt to the side for a moment, and say, okay, the past was not nice. I've done X, Y, and Z. Let's make amends where it makes sense. Let's actually live a new life with integrity, humility, authenticity. And with that, we can model a different way how to live a life. I think that is beautiful in its own right. So that is, and then do living amends. That is living amends in its own right. Do amends to those people that have harmed you, or if you can't find them, or if they're no longer there, then maybe do amends to a group of people that reflects that. So if you have been a dick when one day when you actually talked to a checkout lady, and who really got your anger full in the face, maybe now you can make a point of make every checkout lady laugh or smile or whatever. Yeah. So this is amends, and that is beautiful. However you're touched, but if you have got to believe, or if you haven't got to believe, you have got the power to change. But what you have got, Roseanne, you actually had a tribe waiting for you. Whilst many others, we need to create our own tribe. You need to find our own tribe. That's why the rooms like the AA is so good. But you had the church. Was the church a accepting church? Or was it more the blaming church?
Yeah, I have been fortunate. I think that people get brought up in toxic churches have bigger problems with God. Because I came to God later and I chose my church, I've never had toxic. There's toxic people in the church, right? But you have to accept the fact that we're all broken individuals. And forgiveness of others is definitely part of that. When you talk about making amends, a lot of things that I deal with are like horrific things that people have gone through, whether they were molested as a child, raped, they were driving a car when somebody else died. Those are hard things to just put behind you.
Mm.
And that's where I think a God that's bigger than us is really helpful. And you know, again, this is how it works for me, because there's some big things that we need to make amends with, and those are hard ones. There are big things that we have to forgive others for, and there are big things that we need to pardon ourselves for as well. Yeah.
Beautifully said. I'm envious that you have got such a belief system, and that you have found that link, that maybe missing thing in your life that I have not yet come across. So there you go. It is.
And I do tell people, a lot of people. One of my biggest struggles when I share my faith with people is what somebody else did to them, what somebody that called themselves a Christian did to them. But don't blame God for the wrongs of that human being. You need to try and connect with him, individually, because we're all like blaming that bad. It's just like a doctor, right? There's good doctors and there's bad doctors. There's good churches and there's bad churches, and there's good Christians. I mean, theoretically, me running around as a drunk, it wasn't exactly the best Christian thing to do either, right? But that's what we I don't know. I just feel so much at peace with my life and so much joy moving forward, knowing, that's the daily devotionals that I wrote. We haven't even talked about that, but it's the plans he has for me. And that's kind of the root of it, is that we were created with a gift, and alcohol stole every part of our gifted human spirit. And you know this very well. There's a time we drink, there's a time we recover from drinking, and then there's all the time that we think about trying to quit drinking. That takes up a lot of time in our life. And so I encourage people, like, what have you always wanted to do? What have you always thought, like, I wish I'd gone to school for this, or I'd love to learn how to do carpentry. I'd love to learn how to flower arrange. It doesn't matter. I'd love to learn how to bowl better. We're all created with some kind of gift. And that particular gift is going to be the joy that you get out of life, And then when you can turn that gift into helping others, and purpose, that's when life gets super fun, which is what I'm doing. Sometimes I go, what am I doing at my age? But I was at a place in my life where I wanted to die. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. And I have no more purpose in life. And, and here I am going, this is too much fun. Now I can't die. I got too much to do.
And that is the key thing, isn't it? It is, and it's so easy to forget that the joy, the asking, the why am I doing that? What is my purpose in life? And finding that, taking active steps to find that is such an important mission. And it can be so easily swept aside by circumstances, by maybe financial hardship, by relationship problems, etc. Your focus changes. Your focus goes away. I've been not through nice times recently, so I moved away from the thriver back to the survivor, and it was interesting how empty, now with hindsight, how empty that life was. It was good that the survivor helped me through it, but it was an empty life, an empty as far as creativity is concerned, as far as fun is concerned, joy is concerned, those kind of things. And it is only the last 2-3 weeks now that I actively have been seeking more joy. And blimey, suddenly my brain says, ooh, ooh, that's nice. That's nice. I like. And it comes up with new ideas, with new creativity, with new, a friend came to me and said, look, shall we do another exhibition, photography, etc. I thought, the last one didn't work out so well for us. Immediately my brain came up, no. I've got a better idea. Let's do X, Y, and Z and get this exhibition going. And there it was, this creativeness, this creativity, shall I say. It was beautiful. And that is what comes out when you actually foster it, when you actually cuddle it, hug it, nurture it, all those kind of things. You need to work on it. It's a beautiful work. It's a daily work. And I love it that you have done.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So tell us more about your affirmations. Tell us more about what you have created.
Well, I think that's important to bring something back in, because as you know, when we have a substance that we are romantic about, for lack of any other word, right?
Nice.
We will give up anything for that.
Nice.
When it leaves our life, we think our best friend is missing, right? And that's why it's important, like when something goes away that's toxic, there's first the understanding of truth, that it was toxic for us, it's not our friend. But then there's the replacement of toxic for true friend, i.e. joy, creativity, life, purpose, God, right? And that's what I think is an important part of that journey. And so it's staying the course, because we know that the beginning can be challenging. It's forgiveness of self and others. It's finding our purpose and joy and documenting. And you know this too, right? That people like, okay, now I feel good. Now I can handle the drink again. Forgetting the fact that you're reigniting a neurological pathway that you've worked hard to quiet, and you forget, wait, I'm sleeping better, I'm more productive, I'm more creative, I've got purpose, I'm happy. And then you go and you try and control the situation again. And it doesn't always work well, but that's why I have a choice-based program. It's 12 weeks. I don't tell somebody, you've got to quit forever. I want you to figure it out on your own. So the success rate for people that are challenged with it is super high, as opposed to like, oh, I'm going to try this. Oh, it didn't work. It's too hard. Leave. It's like, no, we're going to commit. We're going to document. And then at the end, at 12 weeks, if you've got the right mindset and you're not waiting for 12 weeks and a day to drink, it's, wait a minute, I want to document the changes. I want to see what life is possible. I want to see what I'm capable of. And you're like, I sleep better. I'm getting along with somebody. I feel more connected. I'm like, I lost weight. My resting heart rate might decrease. My blood pressure decreased. All these things. And so the way I do it, instead of going, you know what, you need to quit, I just go, okay, you've gotten to a point where it's your choice, but now you understand the consequences of your choice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
How do you record? What do you encourage your people to do?
I have my journal has a place to record. So it's a scripture, then it's a paragraph related to the scripture, and then it's a prayer, and then I do gratitude at the top. So I ask people to come up with 10 things, because you know that reticular activating system, our mind will default to our glass that's half full, not half empty. And be grateful for eyes to see, ears to hear, you know what I mean? Relationships, whatever happened, that my cup of coffee in the morning. And also just reflections. That's where we're going to reflect on what we read that day and reflect on how life is better. And I don't know if you knew this, I'm super into the science behind all of this.
Oh, bring it on.
And the science of writing things down is really powerful. When we write things down, our brain, and physically write things down, it's not the same as typing. When we physically write things down, our brain says, oh, that's important. And there's a higher likelihood of you remembering it. So I don't do, everybody goes, I hate journaling. It's literally a half page of notes like, oh, that was cool. Or I really resonated with that. It's not like story writing. It's just jotting notes down like, oh, I did sleep better today. Oh, I didn't think about alcohol today. And as you look at that journal, you're like, wait a minute, it was a problem here. It's not a problem there. My life got better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. So
That's
isn't that cool, the science?
I love it. I absolutely love it. And you're so right. Now just reflecting in my own mind that those days when I do it, I actually do feel better. I actually do have a better sense of achievement. And it's intriguing. It's however, I mean, my life is very busy, and due to me, I made it busy. And I haven't put those important time slots in to actually reflect on that. So that's good. So you just put a mirror in front of my face. And for that, I'm grateful because it is, yeah.
Yeah,
No.
well, our minds are flying around with thoughts and there's nowhere to file them until we write it down. And as soon as we write it down, they're filed. We can calm down, we can rest, we can see there's a vision, there's accountability, there's, every time I write a list, boy, am I a lot more productive. And I sleep better when there's a list because I'm not relying on my memory to remember.
Touche. No, I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you. Time to regroup a bit, and that is normal. So what I'm just doing right now is I have actively spent time with a wonderful guest, with Roseanne, and now Roseanne has triggered something in my mind. And I'm not now beating myself up. Oh my God, you didn't do any writing. Oh, you failure, you. Because that's sort of the temptation that you go into the negative talk. And instead I said, I can do better. Hey, I can grow more here. And that is cool. How I've forgotten that tool that I've used in the past. So why? Let's restart. And that is the cool thing. That is
right.
Do you still get negative talks? Do you still get the negative voice?
I think that's a natural part of life. So my journey is, I call it the collision of the science of the brain, my personal suffering, and God's word, right? So I don't know if you probably don't know this, but in the Bible, in 2 Corinthians 10:5, I'm going to summarize, but it's basically capture your thoughts and make them obedient to Christ. And so it's capturing, it's like, and this was written thousands of years ago, capture those thoughts that are inconsistent with how God views you and make them so you have value. You can't be beating yourself up. If there's a problem, you just acknowledge it, repent, it's solved, and you move on, right? And so there's this system embedded in scripture that tells us to stop those negative thoughts. And there's also a concept in the Bible that says, the enemy is around like a roaring lion waiting for somebody to devour. So if we can separate those thoughts and say, those aren't our thoughts, those are the enemy's thoughts trying to steal our joy and steal our life. So we can capture that thought, oh, there you are, see you later, and move towards a different. So yes, I have them. And yes, I've practiced and gotten really good at not allowing them to sit there for a long time. And I mean minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, because I used to take weeks.
Oh, right.
Yeah, weeks.
Cool. Very good. Same here. It is. I've gotten so much better with it, and I rarely get shame and guilt riding me. That's rare. I get still the odd flashbacks where I remember 40 years ago how I treated someone, and I feel awful about it. And you just ask, why? Why, brain, do you now tell me about an event that occurred 40 years ago, when I have grown so much, yet you give me this punch in the gut with this physical response, and it is sort of these things are happening, but I'm no longer feeling shame and guilt. It does no longer confirm that I should be feeling shame and guilt. Let's call it like that. But
You want to know what's super cool between shame and guilt? I just learned this actually at church, but it's super cool. So guilt is simply an acknowledgement that you've done something wrong and you can turn away from it, right?
Mhm.
And call it repent, turn around and turn away from it. Shame is the feeling that you are wrong. You are a wrong person, right? And I was like, oh, I love that. The difference between I've done something wrong versus there's something wrong with me. Is that not great? This is new for me too. I'm sharing it real time.
Absolutely. And that is, I wrote a children's book, Esme the Mindful Mouse. And that's exactly the lesson that Esme needs to learn between having done something naughty where she upset her friends who are now angry with her versus being a naughty mouse, being a bad mouse. And that is the cool thing. That is such an important message. But here you are. We take trauma, we take things like that to hit us before we finally get the message. It's just, maybe we could start earlier. But okay, I mean, we are a bit further down the line, but meaning we have got maybe a bit of a duty to phrase the lessons that we had to learn the hard way in such a way that maybe others can understand it, and maybe also others from a different generation can understand it. So maybe, and that's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly where you are out there and trying to make this world a better place, Roseanne.
Well, kids, they have, oh my gosh, they have so much more pressure with the social media and the judgment. And it's frightening, and the mental health problems that are coming up as a result of it, the suicides. It's like the sadness in me. For I'm just grateful that that I didn't have to grow up in that. It was bad enough for me. I don't know how kids do it,
Very true. And again, maybe that's where we can help. That's maybe where we can say maybe there is an alternative to you Snapchatting everything and everyone, and then having to deal with the consequences of you saying something, exposing yourself with maybe a naked picture, which seems to be
that's a big thing these days, right?
Me. My sons, they told me about 80% of their friends, boys and girls, have done that. And that is, these pictures you can't just take back. They are just out there now. And they can be worse manipulated. They can be, there's a whole dark, nefarious side to it. And I say nefarious, which means devilish. If you actually, I wanted to comment to you about your language. When you spoke, you could have spoken about the devil, and I would have rolled my eyes probably quietly. You spoke of the enemy.
Yeah.
And we all have enemies, regardless of our belief systems. I loved it how you touched me there, where you took immediately the wind out of my sails, because had you used more a religious speech, I would have probably said, yeah, okay. No, you use a very good language to actually describe the problems that we all are facing. And I love that. I wanted to say thank you for that, actually. That was
Yeah,
really
well, I
good.
try, all of us have trauma, even, from the church. And I really, the people that read my devotional, even if they were Christians at one time, they come back and they go, well, thank you, because I just was introduced to a loving God, not a judging God, not, just understanding for me that there's evil in the world and there's good, and discerning, the lies that we tell ourselves. So many lies, including lies about who we are and what we're worth. So, yeah, I just think this approach and this way of looking at life is available for everyone. Like, nobody's better. In my view, God doesn't view me or you as better or worse. We're exactly the same. He loves us exactly the same. He hopes for the exact same for us, right? So it just doesn't matter who. And that's the problem. We have too many judgy Christians out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And maybe, oh yeah, I mean, we could go into the depth more.
Oh,
only
yeah,
only
yeah,
because only because I don't believe in Jesus Christ doesn't mean to say I don't know the Bible and maybe read scripture. There are scriptures that have not made it into the Bible. Many of them actually out there, and there's the book of Thomas, which never made it into the Bible, but actually where it is said that Jesus Christ is light and energy. Not Jesus, God is light and energy within all of us. He's there and he is creating, or she, whatever we call it, the power is there to make us do good things, creative things, wonderful things. So I actually subscribe to that. I certainly believe that there is something bigger than us out there. And we don't necessarily need to label it, but we need to listen to it and listen to the positive things that it tries to make us do. I think there is a power in us taking action, and it can be the most beautiful addiction to take action and make this world a better place. Those people that do it tend to quietly walk around with a smile on their face, in general terms. And I think that is you're reflecting that so beautifully. And I think that is what I want to invite everyone out there to come join us. And if indeed the church, or even better, or let's distinguish, if you have got a church that fosters such a belief system and is a loving church, is there for you, I'm so pleased for you. If you have found that community, then work within that community. If you have found religion, but let's say you're in a small town and the church that you have got is rather toxic, then forget the church. Create your own church, because the belief is in you. You are, bring two people together who are concerned and willing to stop drinking. Well, that's an AA meeting. Okay, this could also be a church. This could also be a movement forward. Whatever it is, however you dress it up in your belief system, go out there and look after yourself and make this world a better place, and help us. Roseanne, I mean, you're only just starting, really. You've made your affirmations. You created that book. Tell us again the title, please.
It's The Plans He Has for Me. It's a daily devotional for 12 weeks or 84 days. And I do want to tell people who are listening, I have, if you go to my website, www.theplanshehasforme.com, and you press the red button, you will get access to 20 fun and easy responses to tell people why you're not drinking, that don't deal with, oh, I have a problem, or, they're just like, oh, I've got to get up early in the morning and I want to be bright and chipper. It's just that mindset, as you say, and that approach. I have a big to-do list in the morning, and I want to be clear-headed about it. I'm meeting somebody at the gym. There's a lot of responses we can say that aren't like wah, wah, wah. Like I can't drink anymore. I gotta, you know what I mean? So I'm really trying to change the narrative and give people, because I don't know about you, but I think that the biggest problem for people, one, I just think there's shame because it's like they believe that they're going to be called, this name. And two, how to handle social situations. They like, oh my gosh, I mean, that is the biggest fear. How am I going to handle my friends? So this is just a way to help people with a different narrative that's more positive and based in truth,
I love it. I love it. It is typically, I would have chosen some famous replies from celebrities. Every time I drink, I break out in handcuffs. Yeah, something like that.
So those are funny things, but
well, that's right. I love it. I love it that you emphasize the positive and move away from the negative. Again, a feature that is so powerful.
I just want to take the victimhood out of it and tell them that they can be victors. When people have hope and a plan for something better, they're more motivated. I actually had one woman that she was a drug addict and she had been in jail and she had been homeless because of a meth and a heroin addiction.
Yeah.
And I met her through her father. He's another author. And we just started talking. And she was telling me 3 years without drugs and she was suffering and it was hard. And I'm like, I do not understand. You should be rejoicing. And I go, here, have my book. It's not about drugs, but I think they're the same. Let me know. Well, she waited 3 months to read it and then she read it. And she gave me a testimonial that said, after 10 days in your devotional, I got more out of rehab and the 12-step program. I feel closer to God. And what did she say? She reduced her prescription for Suboxone or something like that. It's a drug that you give people from 16 milligrams to 4 in 10 days. And she said she's asked her doctor to be off of it. She didn't need it anymore. I mean, that's the difference of mindset and care and hope and love and God. That's how, somebody who's suffering.
Absolutely.
Like, there's no reason to be suffering 3 years. You should be celebrating. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. No, I'm so pleased for you, and I'm so grateful to you for all the work you're doing. So we have already pondered to your book, we pondered to your website, and all of that information, guys, is down there in the description of the YouTube video and on the podcast. So you don't have to think hard. You just go down there, click on it, check it out, because what have you got to lose? You have got a beautiful, beautiful life waiting for you. And if you're curious, if you're either sober curious or Jesus curious, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey.
You know what? I have more people coming to me, and this is a surprise because I assumed I'd have Christians coming to me, but I have more people coming to me that are wanting to find God than they're wanting, they want to quit drinking, and I'm actually in the process of developing a program for the churches because of that. I wasn't prepared for that part.
Jesus curious. So you have planted that seed, so you need to call it that.
That's funny. I like that. Thank you.
It is just talk about creativity. Talk about
you are creative. I love it.
Had we both been sort of half hung over, you would have just let's finish that. Yeah, exactly. No, it doesn't work.
No, our energy would have been completely different.
Hell yes. Hell yes. Yeah. Unless, of course, we waited and in here would have been not coffee as it is, but actually probably rum and Coke or something like that. Right. Oh, God. No, different times, honestly, different times. Roseanne, you're an amazing woman. One question is left for me. Who do you want to be when you grow up?
Who do I want to be when I grow up?
What do you think Jesus has got in mind for you in a year, in 2 years' time?
Okay, I'm embarrassed to say this, but I just really hope that I have a big stage for a big message, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
I'll
love
go-
it. I love
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah.
okay, I think we
You
both
can
are
say
actually.
you knew me when.
No, 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 no. And there are ways towards that. So I know that the TEDx talk is waiting for me to
There you go.
actually
I love it.
create
Those are
to
not easy to
no,
get.
and no, but it is the new step. It is the kind of, okay, we've done this much. And in the preamble before we started today, I sort of spoke a bit about my dreams, that I actually want to change the show a bit more around, and rather than only having beautiful guests, but also come back to the beginning, go 360-degree full circle. Because when I started this show, I was just talking about the lessons I had to learn the hard way, and it was good. And then the imposter syndrome. Who are you? Who are you? And then I thought I'd better bring in some guests. And then I only did guests. And in all fairness, I mean, we have got 2 shows a week. It is busy. But at the same token, there is so much more. So I am growing. And I'm just trying to figure out who I want to be when I grow up. And I will never grow up. But what's the next?
Wait. Let's ask the same question of you. Like, who do you want to be when you grow up?
Well, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And by asking this question, your brain will come up with the right answer. But you need to ask yourself those questions. And for me, there is a TEDx talk I want to create. It's planned here, but now do the hard work and actually put it in and then apply to TEDx. There are other things. I'm now tomorrow I do the first session with a chef. Where the chef and me will work together and talk about gut health and talk about healthy living and things like that. So it's creative. It's taking action, and it's going out there and saying, hey, there is such a beautiful world out there that we can create, where alcohol has not really a big place or any place really to play for us. And that is the power that we all have. And guys, come along on the ride. But check me out in due course. Check Roseanne out. Roseanne Forte. She is a religious powerhouse, a woman who is really helping others to work and be their best with the help of Jesus. So he uses her as an instrument. And hey, it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. So Roseanne, thank you so much for coming onto my show. It was a true honor to speak to you.
Oh, and we made it happen. That's thanks to you.
No. Let's keep persevering because I knew we would have a brilliant talk. So come on, you're a gorgeous woman. Please keep doing what you're doing. I send you all the energy, and thank you so much for being a guest on my show.
Thank you from across the world. I really appreciate
Absolutely that. And you guys out there, look after yourself and live with passion. Bye.
I never give up. I never give up. I never give up. Trying